Many of us tend to overdo it on Thanksgiving. Then we pay for it with heartburn and acid reflux. I don't know who that applies to necessarily. Maybe me. Dr. Christopher Lynch from Utica Park Clinic is here to talk more about gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, and how we can avoid it during the holidays. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Of course.
First off, explain the difference between GERD and just, say, run-of-the-mill heartburn.
Well, so when we talk about reflux, we talk about reflux of material from the stomach up into the esophagus and beyond. It causes some symptoms, and sometimes that material is acid. And acid creeping up can cause heartburn or acid reflux, that feeling of a sour, bitter taste in the throat or behind the breastbone. So when we say heartburn or acid reflux, we're just talking about that symptom. Gastroesophageal reflux disease is kind of an all-encompassing disease or a disorder that it really, when reflux occurs on a regular basis, causing trouble like complications or disruptions in someone's quality of life, that's when it becomes a disease, gastroesophageal reflux disease. It's a normal part of the human experience to experience some heartburn periodically. That's not necessarily GERD, but when it becomes more bothersome, that's when we call it GERD.
And really, at that point, it's a little more serious of a deal, isn't it?
Well, it can be. I mean, it's certainly it's a leader in cost of lost productivity with folks out of work for reflux, seeking medical care for it. Prescriptions for medicines to combat GERD are some of the most expensive drugs we use. And then there's some complications of reflux that people don't necessarily think about. Some folks can get strictures in the esophagus from reflux causing damage, and even esophageal cancer is a complication of long-standing reflux. So it's not just simple heartburn or indigestion necessarily. It can lead to something more serious.
Kind of pay attention to your body, and if it's chronic, then talk to a doctor about it, I'm sure.
Anybody with chronic reflux that's had it for several years, treating it with medicines at least more days than not during the week, those are folks we want to see in the office. And of course, folks with heartburn that results in strictures can get trouble swallowing, food getting stuck on the way down, or even cancers that can cause trouble with food getting stuck. Those are red flag symptoms that, of course, merit attention.
And a lot of people think, I just got to live with this, but they really don't. There are treatments available. There are things that can be done. Talk about, okay, we're going to Thanksgiving, and I'm as guilty as anyone. I overeat. You know, I got to try everything. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You know,
right. Well, I don't know anything about that, so
that's the kind of guy I am. That's the kind of guy I am. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I eat everything.
A lot of it, right?
Yeah. So what do we need to keep in mind going into the holiday?
Well, there's not a great way to eat everything and not get reflux. So the fuller the stomach is, the more pressure there is to result in reflux back up into the esophagus. And then certain foods, especially holiday-type foods, things that are rich, seasoned, fatty, greasy, those kinds of foods tend to result in more reflux because it makes the muscle that protects us from reflux, it's at the bottom of the esophagus, more prone to getting lazy and relaxing, and then it promotes more reflux. So eating holiday foods is especially a great way to get it.
Pace ourselves, I guess.
Pace yourself, yeah, for sure. Pace yourself, and try not to lay down too soon after you eat. Laying down before the stomach has a chance to empty the food certainly makes reflux happen more too.
Okay. That just blew my Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I was going to eat everything and sit in the recliner and watch football.
You can still do that. You're just going to get reflux.
Okay. All right. Good. Appreciate you being here.
For sure.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, thanks, you too.
All right, Lori, back to you.